Tiffany Gaines, host of the Secrets Podcast. Please go ahead and click the subscribe button so that you'll be notified of any new videos that I choose to upload to my YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody's support and listening. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the likes. So now let me get on and say what I need to say. Didn't I tell you? You know how you can tell what's permitted in a person's home with regard to children or with regard to relationships? You look how they act when they're out in public. If you see a kid running around a grocery store, ignoring their parents' instruction, you know at home that parent struggles with either disciplining that kid or getting that kid to listen to discipline. Kid come over to your house, they're running around, they're pulling and tugging on things. You know that it is a high probability that that kid does the same thing at home. If you have friends who bicker a lot in public, right? You know, the chances are that they bicker a lot at home. He talks to her a certain way in public, he talks to her that way at home. She talks to him a certain way in public, she talks to him that way at home. It's not hard to figure out the dynamics of relationships and what's condoned behind closed doors. Draymond Green was suspended 5 games as a repeat offender for his drag of Rudy Gobert off the court after Rudy Gobert said he was trying to break up a fight, be a peacemaker between an altercation that developed between Klay Thompson and McDaniels of the Timberwolves. Draymond Green, once Rudy Gobert laid his eyes on Klay and just got a fingernail on Klay's jersey, Draymond Green jumps over the top of him, pulls him off Klay, has him in a chokehold, drags him off the court. All right. I knew that there would be some sort of suspension with that because, as I've said in the past, the NBA is sensitive about its image. People who don't watch the NBA don't like the image of the NBA. They don't like the image of the NBA for whatever personal reason that is assigned to them. My personal assessment, it has a lot to do with the malice in the palace, and people are just uncomfortable about seeing black guys fight and have physical altercations, right? They also, I think there is sort of an image and impression that NBA athletes are bratty, spoiled, and entitled, and they get paid millions and millions of dollars to sit out and not perform. And so there's an image and impression that the NBA has to always worry about. They have to be careful with what their players are associated with, what it looks like, the aesthetics, the optics of the league are important. It is crucial to their brand, it is crucial to the survival of the league. Now, there are players, people, in my opinion, that don't really get a pass. Based on your stature, your relationship with your organization, I believe that sometimes punishment is tempered on your relationship with your teammates, as well as your relationship and how many pieces of paper was in your file at the league office. Now, Draymond Green has to always be considered a suspension candidate because he's a repeat offender. But what I said on my last podcast, people are always up in arms about Draymond Green and his antics. The culprits, in my opinion, his coach, and I think Steve Kerr is kind of in the middle because I do believe he gets tired of Draymond's BS. But the Warriors organization and his superstar teammates are the biggest culprits because behind closed doors, they dapping him up and they're kind of talking about him, they're putting an arm around him, but there's not enough vocal discipline against the antics of Draymond Green. Draymond is probably one of the main reasons the Warriors have 4 championships. They have 4 championships. Let's think about the things that Draymond, he got suspended in game 5, right? During the finals, right? They lost the finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, a lot of people, and including Draymond, say that if Draymond was present during game 5, there's no way the Warriors lose that series. There's no way the Cavaliers come back to win that series. I kind of agree, but I'm glad we don't have to talk about it because, they didn't win and I'm a LeBron fan. But so we got that. And with a lot of players in the league, That alone would get your butt shipped out of town. Look at what the Memphis Grizzlies did to Dylan Brooks, who is an outstanding defensive player. He's a presence on the court. He's not, he's not somebody that you look to for offense, but when you get offense from him, that's a bonus and a benefit. But he's a defensive presence. He's a tough guy, somebody you have to recognize and deal with on the court. He's not somebody that you can just kind of ignore in the corner. You know, Dylan Brooks is going to guard the best player, the best offensive player on any team. The Memphis Grizzlies shipped him out of town after his, kind of taunt and poke at LeBron James. So now my Rockets are the beneficiary of getting Dylan Brooks. I still kind of, I don't really like his antics, but I'm cool. I've got a whole new different appreciation for Dylan Brooks because he's on my Rockets, and I've kind of watched and observed his play. But they shipped Dylan Brooks out of town in Memphis. It wasn't because of his basketball play. It was because of his off the court, or not in this case on the court. It was because of his antics. Now, Draymond Green cost the Warriors, in my opinion, a 2016 championship. So they get Kevin Durant. The Warriors proceed to win 2 more titles. Now we're up to 3, right? Because of the one that they won before the 2016 finals. So now we got Kevin Durant. Draymond Green and Kevin Durant's relationship, on the court altercation, verbal altercation. It almost got physical. Draymond Green, Kevin Durant's relationship is severed so much, Kevin Durant leaves. Kevin Durant leaves. The Warriors, don't worry about it. Draymond's our guy. He's still with the team. Come on now. You run off superstar Kevin Durant and you're still on the team. You still got a spot on the team. All right. They get 2 championships out of that. Draymond Green punches Jordan Poole at the beginning of the last season. Who's gone from the Warriors? Jordan Poole. So we got to move past the outrage and stop expecting Draymond Green to be more on the court than the Warriors require him to be away from the court. What's happening to Draymond Green when he's at home? Is he getting his ass whipped? No. They're just kind of condoning. They're just kind of saying, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Draymond Green is giving the Warriors exactly what they want. They're allowing him to be him. If Draymond Green, being the person and player that he is has gotten the Warriors 4 championships, and they don't win those championships without Draymond Green, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry are huge offensive players. But the defensive presence, the bullying, the tough guy, Draymond Green, the offense running through Draymond Green sometimes, or he's orchestrating or leading the offense. I mean, he's got to be worth something to these guys. The fact that we don't see it, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. He was suspended for 5 games after the drag off the court of Rudy Gobert. He suspended 5 games. They asked Draymond, do you have any regrets? Draymond says, what? I don't live with regrets. Does he have a regret? Some regret, probably so. But I'm telling you, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, I'm not going to include Steve Kerr because I do believe he side-eyes a lot of that nonsense. But the Warriors organization co-signed Draymond's antics, because if there's no repentance of your actions and they continue to sign him to contracts, they don't suspend him for conduct detrimental to the team themselves, what do we expect Draymond to do? They know who he is. I don't believe that Draymond can't be governed. Too many people speak highly of Draymond Green. Too many people speak highly of him. He's a likable person. He's a fantastic teammate, says the Warriors organization. And I kind of like Draymond Green too, because I just like the verbal accountability that he takes when things go bad in a loss. He's not a sore loser. He gives dap. He gives respect. He speaks highly of his opponents when they're not Rudy Gobert. So I kind of like Draymond Green too, but I don't like the look that Draymond Green, the allowance of his antics, are putting on the NBA. I'm a big NBA fan, and I don't like the look and the allowance and the tolerance that the NBA and the Warriors organization are allowing Draymond Green to get away with. Now, I know that they have the collective bargaining agreement, and I know that the NBA's hands are tied. They can only suspend and do as much as the letter of their agreement says. But the Warriors organization and the people in their locker room and the people in their front office have more power than does the league to do something with Draymond Green. Draymond Green said, what mattered to him is how the people he cares about look at him and see him. And that, thus and therefore, says everything that you need to know. My people still love me and ride for me, so I'm going to keep doing what I do. That's pretty much what he says. That's pretty much all we need to know. So we can stop talking about why don't you see Draymond? Draymond, why don't you realize? Now, Draymond was in error and saying you can't keep suspending me for something that I did in 2016. Yes, they can. Even the laws. If you get arrested 5 times for something, Draymond, the law is going to grade you on being a repeat offender. So the NBA has every right to consider you a repeat offender. But what the difference in the clash and the contrast is, he's like, my people are still supporting me, NBA. They're not still hard on me and making me pay for 2016. That's the problem, is that his teammates are not making him pay for it. The organization is not still making him pay for it. They don't consider him a repeat offender. They consider him a needed presence and an enforcer and a catalyst to any of their winning aspirations. So that's his family, his teammate, his locker room, and here's the NBA. And the worlds are clashing, and he doesn't understand why the two are separate. That's why he's saying, as long as the people who ride for me still think of me this way, then I'm good. And I believe that the Warriors, are kind of holding, because people love Steph Curry, whatever. They put the Warriors on TV ad nauseum, right? The Warriors are always on television, NBA TV, TNT, ESPN. And so it's like that team's a superstar calling. It's a superstar presence. They put them on television a lot, right? As long as the Warriors are not a trash can for an organization, they're not losing, they're not sucking, they're gonna be on television. And then we just have to watch and just hope that Draymond doesn't have a bad game. I don't think that game that he drug Rudy Gobert was a nationally televised game, but Lord have mercy. They still show it on the national televised highlights. So it doesn't even matter if they're on television or not. We see it. It's just, you kind of have to hope that people who are not really sports fans are not watching Sports Center and things like that. They kind of have to be drugged to it. But if it's a nationally televised games, you got live eyes watching that thing. But because of the Warriors' stature and that being a winning organization, and they got this babyface assassin Steph Curry, and everybody loves Klay Thompson, the Warriors are a television draw. And so I believe the Warriors organization has the NBA, you know, hostage. I believe they're holding them hostage. And I think that the Warriors organization, his teammates, and somewhat Steve Kerr just kind of have to, he is our bad kid. He is our son. What do we expect? Stop riding Draymond Green. At some point, you have to start looking at what parents allow their kids to do in public. You have to start looking at what the parents allow the kids to do at home. You have to start looking at your relationships and looking at the part of your relationship that is not exposed to the public, and you have to start making some decisions based on that. You can't all of a sudden allow some things behind closed doors and then want to condone some things in public. It all has to be congruent. It all has to be even, right? At some point, we have to start looking at the background scripture of the relationship tied to Draymond Green. Who are the culprits involved there? What are the expectations set for Draymond Green? Am I saying that the Warriors are telling Draymond Green to go out and do this? No. But damn, they can do something to govern him a little better. Every time, every time they look over, every time they sign, they condone. But the number one culprit, Steph Curry. And I'm not blaming Steph because you can't, they're emotionally attached. And I don't think Steph wants that for Draymond. I don't think he wants that look for Draymond. But you're not going to get rid of somebody who is in deep bonded relationship of your star player. You know, I don't know what Steph can do to help Draymond be better other than talk to him and be a friend. But at some point, Draymond just sees himself as I'm who I have to be where I am. I do what I have to do to be where I am. I do what I have to do to help our team win. And they're fine with it. They're fine with it. And so I'm not blaming Draymond Green. I'm just going to shrug my shoulders because I blame the parents. I blame Steph. I blame the organization. And sometimes I blame Steve Kerr. I believe Steve Kerr believes it is more than. I think Steve Kerr told a little bit of the truth behind the curtain when he said that we have to help him get a handle, respond differently. I believe he told a little bit of the truth behind the curtain, but it also showed you how much power Steve Kerr does not have. That's not the type of dude Steve Kerr is. I don't believe he condones that, but he is also held powerless in this situation. Relationship is strong in that organization. And the other people, Colin Cowherd, Draymond's on that podcast. There are some people, TNT's got a job waiting on him, right? There's some people who can govern Draymond. But kudos to Draymond for making relationships with people invaluable. I mean, what is he doing to tie relationships so tight that they just kind of look over his actions? Because Colin Cowherd has been a long-standing voice of discipline. He's disciplined in everything that he is and everything that he does and everything that he presents. Colin Cowherd's not a clown. He doesn't like clown-like things. Draymond displays some clown-like behavior. So why is Colin Cowherd, he's just he talks about it because he's going to look a certain way if he doesn't. But he doesn't say a lot condoning. I mean, he doesn't say a lot against the antics of Draymond Green. Now, if Draymond Green was Baker Mayfield, we know Colin would have a whole lot to say about that. Draymond Green was Johnny Manziel, Colin Cowherd would have a whole lot to say about that, but he's not. Colin Cowherd respects the Warriors organization. He loves Steph Curry. He loves Steve Kerr. And Draymond Green is on his Volume podcast platform. So, I mean, another person condoning, right? People love Draymond. Kudos to him having solid relationships. But I believe the NBA, I think their hands are tied unless they revamp and put some new wording in the collective bargaining agreement. Now, I don't know. I mean, yeah, guns are guns, right? But Draymond Green had the man in a chokehold. Ja Morant is suspended for 25 games because of something he did in a car in a state where carrying a weapon is legal. But it was a look. He was suspended 25 games. Ja Morant should be sitting somewhere saying, damn. But Ja Morant, you're also put in your place because you are not Draymond Green even. You're not. And Ja Morant is like, I'm Ja Morant. I'm an offensive force, right? People come to see me play. People don't come to see Draymond defend. The Warriors need him. But it just goes to show. Two. Now, they were talking about Joe Dumars, the hander downer of disciplinary action in the NBA. Joe Dumars loves Draymond Green as well, counsels him. I don't know. Was Joe Dumars pulling back some? I don't know. Again, another condoner. 25 games for Ja for not doing something on the court. 5 games for Draymond Green, and he came out and said, I don't have any regrets. Wow. Said something about relationships, man. When your relationship is tight, when your relationship is solid, you are willing to work through some things with some people, aren't you? When your friendships are solid, you ride for your friends. When your marriage is solid, you deal with a little bit more, of the marital inconveniences. He's worth the fight. They have said, everybody attached to Draymond Green says he's worth the trouble. Find you somebody like that. Everybody find you somebody who treats you the way that Draymond Green treats all of his relationships behind closed doors. Find you somebody like that because they're going to ride for you until the end. So I'm just curious, what do we think about that? What do we think about the Warriors organization, the co-signers of Draymond Green? Because I'm out on criticizing Draymond Green at this point. I love the NBA. I want the face of the league protected. But I'm tired of people talking about Draymond Green needs to do better. What about the co-signers? I'm not absolving Draymond Green for being for trying to be the best human being that he can be. But man, at some point, what about the people that's co-signing? What about the parents that's allowing this kid to run around the grocery store and snatch down all of the cereal boxes? Somebody's got to clean all this up. Get your kid, lady. Or sir. Could be a dad in there with the kid. Sometimes it is. Anyway, jump into the comments. Let me know what we think about this. Draymond Green has no regrets about his 5-game suspension. Also says he can't keep getting suspended for the 2016 antics. I disagree with that. But Tiffany Gaines, host of the Secrets Podcast, please do me a favor and click like and subscribe, right? And if you like the video, go ahead and do me a favor. Click the like button. I like to see that. I like feedback. I want to form the type of relationship that Draymond Green has with his friends and organization, right? Tiffany Gaines, host of the Secrets Podcast. Peace out.